Okay, I guess it's time for an update on the 39 Zephyr. The last time I was in this car, we were driving it around and it was driving perfectly well. So why in the world is the engine compartment empty? So we're going to talk about that. Is this a step forward or a step backward? You know, it's part of the process. Part of doing a nice job finishing a car that's going to be amazing when it's done. Stay tuned. Okay, JB, some people might not be able to tell the difference easily because the paint color is the same, but this is the 39 Zephyr project going on.
Yes, it is.
And see, the struggle I have is I remember riding in this car and the engine seemed fine, and now the engine is not in the engine bay, and it's actually right in front of us here.
Well,
why don't you tell me why the engine's out of here?
That's good power. You gotta remember that's that 1.2 barrel. A lot of velocity going through there to a big engine. The engine is out of there because it has obvious cosmetic problems. To try to deal with the engine in the engine bay would mean that we'd have to sacrifice a lot of quality. So in order to do this in a proper way, we're going to be stripping the exterior of the engine with the idea of painting it. We're going to redo the heads, and we're going to build a 3.2 carburetor setup for it, which of course is going to require this generator go away, and that a new alternator inside of a generator case will be placed up here. So all this top stuff's going to go away, but it's so much easier to deal with the engine out where we can look at it. And of course, remember we have a mock-up for a V-12, which we'll use to clean it properly and get access to all the various parts and pieces such that we can clean it. Now we'll probably, in this case, we'll strip it with some baking soda. Crystalline baking soda, as we talked about a long time ago, is really great for doing rust removal with the understanding that even if some is to get in the motor, it's not going to harm the engine because it's just baking soda. So the engine can actually ingest it and pass through it without scarifying anything. Obviously sand or copper slag or any of the other materials that we use wouldn't be appropriate, especially in an engine that's already built and we're going to preserve.
Right, so you're not actually
rebuilding the engine. We're putting a cosmetic rebuild on it as per our discussion with the customer, because you would never rebuild this engine if you do flight V all the way to the...
and the fact is it is a good running engine.
It's a beautiful
engine.
But
you'd like it just to look a little bit better. The
customer wants it to look like it belongs in that car.
Right, that car is gorgeous.
Right, that car is killer. So now it's going to have a proper engine that looks like the rest of the car on closer inspection. And also we have to remind people that we're really concerned about drivability. These are not show queens. These are cars that people are actually going to get in them and drive them. And in certain areas,
and that's really a big deal, because
it is a big deal.
The experience of having the car is so different when you can drive it versus just kind of
so many cars are not finished with that idea in mind. Unfortunately, and a lot of the customers don't even realize it until the car comes home. And now we've got all of its how should we say?
Struggles, we'll say.
It's struggles, yes.
Lots of struggles.
Struggles to go on the freeway, struggles to get off the freeway. It stops and starts, but it then dies on you halfway home. So we don't want that sort of thing. And one of the things we talked about, one of the emphasis is that, I don't know if that's a word, but is to actually, once the thing goes back in there and we got new plug wires and we got all this new stuff, we have now created a situation that we have to recheck all that, because now we'll have to put it on the test bench and make sure it runs properly and it accelerates properly and doesn't smoke and doesn't do anything weird. But all these God knows what wires and stuff is all going to go away. So you get that clean appearance that you have in the 39 Coupe that's inside, and that's a good reference. That's kind of our guiding light here, is try and do something as clean and well executed as that.
By the way, he wasn't making a mistake when he said 39 Coupe inside, because there's a 38 project that he might be referring to, but he's actually referring to a 39 Coupe that is finished.
That was the car we did a year or so ago, and that's also on BarryT's garage.
Yes, there is a really fun video on that car.
So it's kind of become the model.
And
when we asked the customers what they wanted to see or what goals we had for the various cars. Because I'm listening. I mean, I realize that we talk a lot, but we also have to listen, and we have to do what they want. And this customer is very, very adamant about being specific, which we love. You know, I want this, I want this, I want this.
Right.
And it's never unreasonable, but we need to communicate, and we do that routinely. We call them up and say, now, here's where we're at this stage. Here are our choices.
Yep.
Which one do you think? And we make a recommendation perhaps, but we're always going to do what he wants.
Right.
Okay, unless he wants to put in a small block Chevy, in which case he can go somewhere else. Okay? And we get that clear before he ever comes in here. Okay?
Right.
We don't put other motors in V12 Zephyrs.
Right. Okay.
Just
I
don't
hear
do
you
that.
loud and clear.
Not a good thing to do.
Gotcha.
So this engine, like I said, is really in great shape internally. So we're going to be cosmetically cleaning it up and.
It looks like some work has been done on the engine bay already.
Yes, a lot of work's been done because we're trying to preserve, in this car, we're trying to preserve the stock condition. But we didn't have access, as you can see down there.
Sure.
So that's all got to be
yeah, so you're
cleaned
keeping
up.
the original firewall as...
In this car we will, yeah. And because it's so nice. I mean, it's not all butchered like some of the ones
some
that
of them are
encountered.
destroyed.
Yeah.
So.
And of course, we've got to be really careful of the VIN plate here. This is probably the most valuable metal on the planet, is that piece of metal right there, which tells you that this was built at Lincoln as a 3-window coupe. So it puts it in a very, very select company, and there's your proof of what it is.
Very good.
That tag is very, very precious. I've seen cars that were missing these tags, and it's really heartbreaking.
Yeah, wow, that's wonderful. Well, this is a good update here to what's happening.
Well, as you notice, there's no rust. We don't have the stereotypical V8 crap that was normally
mounting
present.
butchery.
Yeah, right, butchery, thank you. And so we'll go back into this. Now this is the 39, so it has some special requirements other than the earlier cars, because remember, everything was rubber mounted in a 39. It's one of the reasons they're so smooth.
Okay.
Is that they said, you know, we're going to take it to the next level. We're going to make it, put everything in rubber so that whenever I encounter a bump, I don't hear about it, I don't feel it.
Right.
It's a dampening system that's very sophisticated.
Interesting.
And of course we got to be mindful of that. And if some of the stuff is not good, we got to replace it. And it's precious.
Right.
It's hard to find, and sometimes we'll just actually have to make it. And we've done that already for this car. We actually recreated some of the snubbers on the hood.
Okay.
Some of the door, we actually made those ourselves out of an elastomeric material. A little bit more softer than original, but exact same shape.
Gotcha. And then for those trying to track between the two projects, being a 39, it originally did have hydraulic brakes.
That's exactly correct. Yeah, it came with hydraulic brakes, and they work extraordinarily well. So we'll take the time to break them down and see if we have any just wear issues.
Yeah.
You know, the shoes got to be up to date, and the drums got to be turned, and that'll make it stop even better. This car already stops really well.
Okay.
So we just want to make sure that we don't have some wear problems that are going to sneak up on him later.
Okay.
And get those in hand. And I told the customer if he wants to bring it back and go the whole route, we're happy to do that. He may end up deciding to do that anyway.
Yeah.
It's not really my call.
Yeah, sure.
But I guess I'm fighting for the car at this point.
Yeah.
Because the car is so nice. If it was a wreck and everything was trash underneath, I'd be going just the opposite way.
Right. No, this is beautiful.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks,
Really nice
JB.
car.
This
You
is
bet.
great.
Thanks.